welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we are diving back into New Moon. Today we're going to be covering chapters 7, 8, and 9.
Yes. The quick 4-sentence summary. Edward has left. Bella is depressed. Bella starts hanging out with Jacob. Bella's actually feeling happy.
Yeah. Before we get too deep into it, we do want to let you know about our social medias. So make sure you're following us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, and that's Chronicles with an S, to make sure that you get notified for any updates that are coming up.
Yeah. And please like the video. We are suffering through New Moon. I know some of you love it. I don't. Jess doesn't. The first part.
Well, I suffered through the first 4 chapters.
Yeah.
And then every chapter since has just been getting better and better.
It has been getting better. It has been. You should still like the video anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let us know your thoughts on New Moon. And don't worry, any comments on here, Connie will be filtering them. So I will not read them.
Yep. Nope. She can't have any spoilers.
Nope. All right, so chapter 7 is titled Repetition. The chapter begins, quote, "I wasn't sure what the hell I was doing here," end quote. Going to see Jacob was much healthier. This was not a healthy thing to do. Part of the reason she's doing this is because of her nightmare. There is something to search for. He was out there somewhere. When Bella is honest with herself, she discovers that she just wants to hear his voice again, like she did on Friday. Bella was hoping that having deja vu was key for this, so she went back to his house. Bella finally found the house, but it wasn't the same. She stopped and looked away. She was afraid to continue, but nothing was happening. Bella got out of her truck and approached the house. She didn't get close enough to tell whether or not it was empty or if it was left how she last saw it. She didn't know which would be worse. Bella turned around and nearly ran to her truck. She felt anxious and wanted to get back to the human world, and she wanted to see Jacob. She got on the road and pushed her truck as fast as it would go. Jacob was waiting for her. Quote, "My chest seemed to relax as soon as I saw him, making it easier to breathe," end quote. And I put, this is what you want in a partner. Truly.
You truly do. And yes, no, it's legitimately a thing. When I was panicking walking down the aisle because I did a full wedding, which was something else. There's a wedding versus elopement episode. Check it out.
Yeah.
Literally, when I looked at my husband, I felt that it was safe. And I was like, he is safe. He is my person.
Yep.
And, you know, it's a legitimate thing. Look for that.
Yeah, when I was having issues with PTSD stuff, I remember, Mitch didn't fix it, but I felt safe and like things were going to be okay.
And that's what you look for.
Exactly. So Jacob called for her, and Bella smiled in relief.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Ruby. She's using the water bottle and the book as pillows.
I know. She's just adorable. She almost fell off the couch when you were talking about your wedding.
Is that what that thump was? Oh,
that...
I thought it was knocking off another ball.
Nope. That was just her almost falling off the couch.
Oh.
Yeah. So Jacob is eager to get back to work, and Bella laughs and asks how he's not sick of her yet, and tells him to let her know when she's starting to get on his nerves. Jacob just laughs and says he will, but don't hold your breath. Bella walks into the garage and looks at the red motorcycle. Bella said he is amazing. Jacob just laughs and says that he can be obsessive when he gets a project, but if he were smart, he would have drug it out further. Bella questioned him, and he looked at the ground for a long while before finally answering, what if he couldn't fix the bikes? What would she say? Bella would say that it's too bad, but she is sure that they could figure out something else. And if they were desperate, they could even do homework. Jacob smiled and seemed to relax. She asked if that was supposed to be he asked if she would still come over when he was done. And Bella shakes her head at him. She will continue to come over as long as he lets her. Jacob teases her and then asks if she really likes spending time with him. She does, and to prove it, they'll do something non-mechanical on Wednesday. It would be tomorrow, but she's working tomorrow. They can go to her place so he won't be tempted with his obsession. Maybe he could bring us homework. After all, he has to be getting behind with how much time he is putting into the bikes. She's also starting to fall behind. Jacob agrees, and Bella continues, saying that they have to start being responsible occasionally, otherwise Billy and Charlie aren't going to be so relaxed about this. Jacob proposes homework once a week, and Bella suggests twice. He lets out a heavy sigh, grabs 2 cans of soda, opens them, and hands one to her, and toasts, quote, "Here's to responsibility twice a week." And then Bella responds, quote, "and recklessness every day in between."
Oh, that's actually really cute.
I love Jacob so far, and I have to keep saying that because every time I'm like, I love Jacob. He's a green flag. Connie just has this look on her face. So something's coming that I clearly don't know about yet.
It's not necessarily one thing. It's just kind of.
Well, apparently we'll get to it, and probably soon, because we're doing 3 chapters of episode.
Yeah?
Yeah. When Bella got home, there was an email from Renee waiting for her. Renee was gushing over what Bella had sent, so Bella ended up sending her another detailed email about her day. Well, everything except for the motorcycles. The next day, Mike and Angela seemed to welcome her back with open arms. After school, Bella and Mike both worked, and Mike was very chatty. Almost seemed like he saved up a whole semester's worth of information to talk about.
Okay, that's actually really sweet, though.
It is. Bella was able to smile and laugh with him, but not nearly as effortlessly as she was able to with Jacob. They closed, and Mike said that this was fun tonight. Bella agreed, but she would have much rather spent the afternoon in the garage with Jacob. Mike says it's a shame that she had to leave the movie early next week. She should go see a better movie, something that she would actually enjoy, like maybe on Friday with him. They could see something that wasn't scary at all. Bella didn't want to mess things up with Mike, especially not when he was one of the 2 people ready to forgive her for being crazy. Kind of crazy, I get it, but also we all go through phases in our life where we need a break from people. I mean, we've even had our breaks too, where you just take time off because you're overwhelmed, you can't handle the stress of even talking to people. And I'm not saying like stress as in I'm stressed out like that, but like
it's the culmination of internal stress.
Well, it's like your body just can't physically give out that much energy.
Yep.
So your body is stressed. I mean, you can be stressed, but
physical exhaustion.
Yeah.
Which is why, the friends that are like, hey, whenever you're ready, I'm here. And then they just pick back up with you. Those are really good friends.
Yes.
Those are friendships that last a lifetime. We have done that. I have one other friendship that's like that.
Yep.
Like it's awesome. Highly recommend.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I mean, and if they are truly your friends, they will give you your space, respect your space, and be ready to welcome you back as long as you didn't do anything to like
burn that bridge completely.
Yeah.
Which Jessica being all like catty of like, well, you haven't really been talking to me. Like that to me is not burning a bridge. It's different to every individual person. But I'm talking like if you sleep with your friend's ex who she never got over just as a way to feel something, like that's a burned bridge. That you're not coming back from that one.
Yeah, no, you're not coming back from that one.
Don't do that.
No, do not be a good person. Make good decisions. Make good responsible decisions. More than twice a week.
More than twice a week.
So Bella asks if this was a date, and Mike tells her only if she wants it to be, but it doesn't have to be. Bella responds that she doesn't date, and Mike suggests that they go as friends. Bella says that she would, but she already had plans for this Friday, and when Mike asks her what plans, Bella can sense that it's not as casual as he intended it to be. Bella tells him that she actually has a study session with a friend. Mike walks her to her car and just says, maybe next week then. The following night, Charlie wasn't surprised at all to find Jacob and Bella on the living room floor with the books around them, so Bella assumed that Charlie and Billy were talking behind their back. Charlie says hi to both of them and looks longingly into the kitchen where lasagna was being made. Jacob stayed over for dinner and brought some leftovers home for Billy. Jacob even added another year to her negotiable age for being a good cook. Friday, they went to the garage. Saturday, Bella worked, and after, more homework. Charlie even felt she was okay enough for him to spend the day fishing with Harry. When Charlie came back, they were watching TV, and Jacob sighed that it was probably time for him to go home. Bella grumbled that she would take him home, but back to work tomorrow. Jacob had an unexplained excitement in his smile, and he said he'll call her first before she heads up. The next morning, Bella cleaned and waited for Jacob to call. Bella was trying to shake last night's nightmares. The scenery was different. She was wandering in ferns and large hemlock trees that were all around her. There wasn't anything else. She was just wandering aimlessly. Bella was in the middle of cleaning the toilet when the phone rang. She ran downstairs and answered it. It was Jacob. He said, quote, I believe that we have a date. End quote. Uh-huh. I know. I love Jacob. This is so cute.
It's very cute. My face is more because Bella, she's not serious.
I know. No, I know. I know. We get to that in like chapter 9. And we'll get to it when we get to chapter 9, but I just want to jump ahead to chapter 9.
I know. We're almost there. Almost there. Chapter 6.
Okay. 7. We're on 7.
Sorry.
The motorcycles were done and ready. Bella said he is without a doubt the most talented and wonderful person she knows and gave him 10 negotiable years. Jacob said, cool, he is middle-aged now.
Oh.
Bella told him that she would head up. As she left, Charlie said, heading to see Jake? It wasn't a question. Bella said yes, and Charlie told her he would be at the station later. Bella yelled okay back as she turned on the truck. He said something else but couldn't hear over the roar of the engine. Bella believes he said, where's the fire? Like she's booking it. She's trying to leave so fast.
It's a little unhealthy how she's jumping from one guy to another. Well, it's not really jumping, but like she just falls so quick, but she's not really falling.
I know. But also we do have to keep in mind that
18.
But, yeah, age, but also Bella and Edward's relationship was only about 6 months. Edward was gone for 4 months, and then now she's been hanging out with
for at least 2-3 weeks, so it might have been like 5 months.
5 months, creeping up on 6 maybe.
Yeah, I think my flag is just how quickly she's attaching. Like, you can't attach your happiness to a person.
No, you have to find your happiness in yourself.
Exactly, which is hard to do as a teenager. I'm working on it as someone I'm closer to 30 than 20.
That hurts. That hurts.
Yes, it does.
But yes, no, I am actively working on it as well. It's hard, and it's something that you have to continually work at.
Yes.
But yeah, we can't rely on other people for our own happiness. That's not how it works. And some people do that, but it's not healthy.
Nope. And we're going to see why shortly.
So Bella parked at the Blacks in a way that it would be easy for them to sneak the bikes off. When she got out, there were 2 bikes, one black and one red, hidden under a tree, making them hidden from the house. There was also pieces of blue ribbon in a bow on each of the handlebars. This guy is so sweet. Bella, what is wrong with you? Jacob ran out of the house and in a low voice and sparkling eyes asked if she was ready.
Can you be a low voice at 16? But sure.
I mean, you can. You can. You definitely can.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, see. Yeah.
So she said yes, but wasn't as excited as she was before now that she had to get on it. So they packed the bikes, and Jacob gave her directions to a spot that he had picked out. They were on a dirt road that led them to a breathtaking view where they could see the ocean. They were above the shore on top of the cliffs. There was a group of people near the ledge, and suddenly one of them jumped off. Bella yelled no and stomped on the brakes. Jacob shouts back, "What's wrong?" Because he has no idea what happened. Bella tells him what she saw, and Jacob just laughed. They were cliff diving. Do you mean jumping?
Cliff jumping, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Stephanie, she used cliff diving. And I was like, that's not cliff jumping. Most people jump from the rock that was about halfway down from there, but those guys are crazy. Bella didn't miss when Jacob said most of us. She is shocked that he jumped off the cliff. He confirmed he has. It's fun. It can be a little scary, but it's such a rush. Bella looked back at the group. She had never seen anything so reckless in her life. Suddenly exclaims, "He has to take her cliff diving." Oh, I made a note here. I do want to point out that she is slowly starting to call him Jake and not Jacob, and that's really cute.
They're getting closer, yeah.
Getting closer. So Jacob looks at her disapproving. She just wants to call an ambulance for Sam. She just wanted to call an ambulance for Sam, and now she wants to go and do it herself. But Bella insisted that she wanted to try. She starts to get out of the car, and Jacob grabs her wrist, saying, "No, not today. Can we at least wait for a warmer day?" Bella agrees and said that she wants to soon, though. Jacob rolls his eyes and says that she is sometimes a little strange. Also, they're not jumping off the top. Bella agrees. Well, not the first time anyway. Jacob just sighs and asks if they're riding bikes today or not. Bella says yes and gets back. Bella says yes and gets back in and starts driving. Bella asks about the guys, and Jacob says it's the LaPush Gang. It's not an actual gang, though. They're more like hall monitors gone bad. They won't start fights, but they keep the peace. He has also heard them call themselves protectors. Jacob was clenching his hands into fists, and she had never seen him like this before. He must not like them. Bella points out that it doesn't sound like they're doing anything bad. Jacob says annoying would be a good word. They're also always just showing off. They act like tough guys. Jacob tells a story about where Sam broke up a potential fight between Quill and one of Sam's followers, Paul. Sam is 20 and his followers are 16. Sam was supposed to leave to go to college, but he decided to stay. The whole council was upset with his sister for turning down a partial scholarship and getting married, but no one was upset with Sam. He can do no wrong. Bella wasn't sure why he was taking things so personally. She hoped she didn't offend him for saying so, but he was suddenly calm and looking out the window. She pulled over and got the bikes out. Bella tried to read Jacob's expression. Something was bothering him. Jacob gave her a small smile and pushed the red bike to her, saying, "Happy late birthday," and asks if she's ready. Don't worry, they'll take it slow.
Notice how up until this point, no mention of helmets.
Oh no, they're definitely not wearing helmets. If you're riding a motorcycle or a bike in general, or doing anything stupid, wear a helmet. Yeah. So Bella hesitates but asks him what's really bothering him about the Sam thing. Jacob grimaced, but he didn't seem angry. He finally admits it's the way that they treat him. It creeps him out. The council is supposed to be made up of equals, but his dad would be the leader if there was one. He hadn't been able to ever figure out why people treat him this way and why his opinion matters the most. It's probably something to do with his father and his father's father. So his great grandpa, I'm going to butcher this name, Ephraim Black, Ephraim Black, was the last chief they had, and maybe they listened to him because of that. Jacob continues, he was just like everyone else. No one treats him specially except for Sam. He looks at Jacob like he's waiting for something, maybe for him to join his gang. Oh, he's waiting for something. Oh, he's waiting for something. Bella assured him that he doesn't have to join anything. Bella was angry because this was really upsetting Jacob. Bella could tell that there was more that was bothering him and asks. Jacob looks sad and worried now. Embry had been avoiding him lately. Bella reminds him that he has been with her a lot lately, but that's not it. He has been doing it with everyone, even Quill. Embry missed a whole week of school. They tried to go see him, but he was never home. When he came back, he looked terrified and wouldn't say what was wrong. Then, the next week, Embry was hanging out with Sam and the rest of them, and he was even on the cliffs with them today. He didn't want anything to do with him, and now Embry is following Sam around like he's joined his cult. That's exactly how it was with Paul, too. How he became a part of the gang. He has talked to Billy about this, but he just tells him that it's not something he needs to worry about now. And in a few years, if he doesn't, well, he'll explain later. Is Jacob going to turn in this book? Yes.
Honestly, I don't remember right now. Pretty sure, I think, maybe. I don't know. We're going to find out. Yeah, wait, hold on. Wow, that was super affirmative. You've probably got a lot out of that.
Well, chapter 9 basically told me everything that I needed to know.
Oh,
So,
there we go.
yeah, no. So, I put a page number down here. I have no idea why. But, quote, what am I supposed to get from that? End quote. Oh, no, that wasn't an end quote. Yeah, that wasn't an end quote. Quote, what am I supposed to get from that? To touch his... Dear God, I didn't write this down right. Maybe that's why I put the page number down. What am I supposed to get from that? Is he trying to say it's some stupid puberty coming of age thing? This is something else. Something's wrong. He was biting his lower lip and clenching his hands. He looked like he was about to cry. I threw my arms around him instinctively, wrapping them around his waist and pressing my face against his chest. He was so big, I felt like I was a child hugging a grown-up. Oh, Jake, it'll be okay, I promised. If it gets worse, you can come live with me and Charlie. Don't be scared. We'll think of something. He froze for a second. Oh, this is why I put the page number down. He froze for a second, and then his long arms wrapped hesitantly around me. Thanks, Bella. His voice was huskier than usual. We stood like that for a moment. It didn't upset me, in fact. I felt comforted by the contact. This didn't feel anything like the last time someone had embraced me this way. This was friendship, and Jacob was very warm. It was strange for me being this close emotionally rather than physically, though the physical was strange for me too. to another human being. It wasn't my usual style. I didn't normally relate to people so easily on such a basic level. Not human beings. If this is how you're going to react, I'll freak out more often. Jacob's voice was light and normal again, and his laughter rumbled against my ear. His fingers touched my hair, soft and tentative. Well, it was friendship for me. Yeah.
Vidi Kadibi. Bella. No.
Ruby's concerned.
Ruby, you should be concerned.
Hi, she's like, I'll come for you. Oh, gosh. Yeah. So Bella moves away and laughs with him. Bella couldn't believe that she was 2 years older than him, and Jacob reminds her that he is in his 40s.
Ruby did come to comfort me.
She was very concerned.
Do you know a Vidi Kavidi?
Avada Kedavra.
Oh, you knew that.
We watch a lot of Harry Potter.
That's valid. See, I'm thinking of the TikTok meme of the girl who's the intern.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, yeah, he gets mad, and, they don't get fired. They get a Vidi Kavidi. I don't know why that one plays in my head quite often.
So Bella couldn't believe that she was 2 years older than him, and Jacob reminds her that he is in his 40s, actually. How could she forget? He patted her head and teased that she is like a porcelain doll. Bella tells him to not start with the albino jokes, but puts his arm next to hers for a comparison and asks if she's sure that she's not.
Oh.
Ruby likes the red flags.
Well, you and your younger mama are the same that way. I just can't give you this one 100% because I need it.
It's okay. I tossed her hers.
Well, now mine's slimy.
Don't worry. She won't eat it.
That's what I was worried about, too. I'm like, is she going to eat it?
She doesn't eat anything. She's fine.
Well, that's good.
So he hasn't seen anyone paler than her. Well, except for... but breaks off and looks away. Then asks if she's ready to ride. Quote, let's do it, I agree, more enthusiastically than I would have been half a minute ago. His unfinished sentence reminded me of why I was here. End quote, and end of chapter 7. Any comments?
No, let's jump us into chapter 8 because now stuff gets interesting.
Start does becoming interesting. All right, so chapter 8 is titled Adrenaline. The chapter begins with Jacob quizzing Bella on where everything is on the motorcycle. Once he is satisfied that she knows where everything is, he says it's time to get moving. Bella was terrified, but she reminded herself that she has lived through the worst thing possible, so she should be able to look death in the face and laugh. Bella stared down the long dirt road. Jacob told her to hold down the clutch and not let go of it. He then asks if she thinks that she could kickstart it. Through gritted teeth, she says that if she moves her foot, she'll fall over. Jacob says he'll do it, just don't let go. He slams his foot on the pedal and then force rocketed the bike. Force rocketed?
Yeah.
Force rocked. Rocket. I said rocketed.
Isn't that force rocketed at Ford?
Forced rocked.
Oh.
Force rocked. Forced rocked the I don't know. Rocketed? Something. So he basically just the bike and Bella started to fall sideways, but Jake caught the bike before it pushed her to the ground. Oh, that's what it meant. Okay, so he slammed his foot on the pedal, and that force caused the bike to start falling over.
Force rocked.
Yep.
Got it.
Force rocked.
Now we're here.
Well, that was just me not being able to say words right. Bella started to fall sideways, and then Jake caught the bike before it fell on top of her. So Jacob studies her and asks if she still has the clutch, and she does. He tells her to plant her feet. He's going to try again. This time, he puts his hands on the back of the seat, too. After 4 kicks, the ignition caught and the bike came to life. Jacob suggests to try the throttle very lightly, but also keep holding the clutch. She did, and Jacob smiled with satisfaction. He then tells her to put it into first gear. Bella hesitates, and Jacob reminds her that it's the left foot. When he realizes that she is scared, he asks if she's sure that she wants to do this. How sweet. Not like freaking Edward being like, no, this is what you're doing, and this is what we're doing, and we're doing it now. Meh.
Mm-hmm. Hang on, Spider Monkey.
I still hate that line.
Apparently, that was the best line option that Robert Patterson could choose, so I don't want to know what the others were.
No, thank you. So she did, and Jacob smiled with satisfaction. He then tells her to put it into first gear. Bella hesitates, and Jacob reminds her it's the left foot. When he realizes that she is scared, he asks if she is sure she wants to do this. She kicks the gear shift down, and Jacob praises her and then tells her to ease up on the clutch, and he takes a few steps back. Bella couldn't believe what he was saying. He wants her to let go of the grenade. He assures her that she will just move little by little. Bella starts to loosen her grip, and as she does, she is shocked when a voice not belonging to her or Jacob comes in. The velvet voice fumed that this was reckless, childish, and idiotic. Bella gasped, and her hand came off the clutch. So the bike bucked under Bella and ended up collapsing to the ground half on top of her. The engine choked and stopped. Jacob jerks the bike off her with ease and asks if she was hurt. But Bella isn't listening. The perfect voice murmured, "I told you so." Jacob shook her shoulder and called her name. Bella mumbled that she was fine. She was more than fine, actually. The voice in her head was back. I just, in caps, wrote a lot of no's underneath this. Yeah.
I'm just not saying anything so we can get through these portions.
I do want to say, and I don't know if this is going to be right, and I feel like I won't know until the end of the book, but I don't know if she's hallucinating. My hunch is that Edward is nearby. No, she is actually hallucinating?
To my memory, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, Bella, you are fucked in the mind, girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. So there was no sense of deja vu here, so the hallucinations must have been triggered by some combination of adrenaline and danger, or potentially just stupidity. Okay, if she is just hallucinating, that is a trauma response from abuse.
Mm-hmm.
From being verbally abused.
Yep. Yeah, no, definitely if you're having like those strong audio and what's the other the vision one, ocular or whatever, hallucinations, not
seek help.
That is an extreme trauma response, or if you haven't gone through a trauma, that's a sign of some other stuff going on upstairs.
Yeah, I was just getting through this assuming that Edward was actually nearby.
To my memory, well,
someone's got opinions.
To my memory, no.
Okay, well, then girls got hella trauma. Jacob pulled her to her feet and asked if she hit her head. It was so cute how worried about her that he is. Bella asks if the bike is okay. It is, and she wants to try again. Jacob asks if she is sure, and she is. Bella tried to kickstart it herself this time, and Jacob's hands hovered, ready to catch her if she fell. It took several tries, but she got it. Bella's smile now mirrored Jacob's. Jacob reminded her to take it easy on the clutch this time. And the voice came back more severe. Quote, "Do you want to kill yourself then? Is that what this is?" End quote. Bella smiled. It was working, and Jacob wouldn't let anything serious happen. The voice now ordered her to go home to Charlie. When that didn't work, the voice in her head growled with the engine, and Bella was off.
Also, how can Jacob protect her once she is going? He's not super speed. She's used to Eddie. No. Okay.
She moved her foot to shift gears, and she also twisted the handle for more gas. The voice was angry, but honey sweet, and said, "No, Bella, what are you doing?" Bella all of a sudden realized that the road was curving left. Jacob hadn't taught her how to turn.
What do you mean?
I know. I know. Bella tells herself brake, and instinctively she slams her right foot down, which is what Jacob told her to not do. So the bike becomes unstable and falls to the ground on top of Bella. She was dizzy and confused. Bella was dizzy and confused, but she heard three things snarling: the bike, the voice in her head, and something else. It was Jacob's bike. He had come after her and pulled the bike off of her. Bella was thrilled. Adrenaline, danger, and stupidity got her to the hallucinations. Jacob was crouching over her and asked if she was okay and if she hit her head. She didn't think so. She thought she was fine. But she's not. She has a huge cut on her forehead and it's gushing. Bella apologizes to Jacob, but Jacob says, why is she apologizing for bleeding? He helps her up and tells her that he'll drive her. Bella asks about the bikes.
Bless you.
Bless you. That scared me.
Scared everybody.
Bella asks about the bikes. Jacob takes off his blood-spotted shirt and throws it at Bella to use on her head. He then loads up the bikes. As Bella watched him ride, she noticed he looked athletic and professional and nothing like what she is sure that she looked like on the bike. Bella was surprised with how far she actually got. She didn't feel bad at all considering what had happened. Head wounds just bleed more than most cuts. After Jacob gets the bikes in the truck, he helps her get in. Bella tries to assure him that she is fine, it's just a little bit of blood. Jacob mutters, just a lot of blood. He also tells her that he thinks that she'll need some stitches. Bella tells him that they can't go to an ER like this. She tells him that she won't bleed to death. They should bring the bikes back and make a pit stop at her house so she can dispose of the evidence before they go to the ER. Jacob asks if she is sure, and she is. This wasn't as dire as it appeared to be. Jacob wasn't happy about this, but he didn't want Bella getting into trouble. While driving back, Jacob informs her that he will be disconnecting her foot brake. They get to Bella's house, and she goes in and changes, and they take off. Halfway to the hospital, Bella realizes that Jacob still doesn't have a shirt, and Bella feels guilty and tells him that she should have grabbed him a jacket. Jacob just teases that it would have given them away, but it's not even that cold out. Bella asked if he was kidding and turns on the heat because she's cold. She watches Jacob to see if he was just toughing through it, but he seemed to be comfortable. Jacob's arm was draped across the back of Bella's seat, and she thought to herself that he didn't look 16. He looked much older, maybe even older than her. Jacob caught her watching him and asked what was it. Bella tells him nothing. She just hadn't realized he's sort of beautiful. Jacob,
Remember this? Sorry.
Are you remembering the movie?
I don't know if it's the movie or the book, but go ahead.
Jacob rolls his eyes and says, she hit her head pretty hard, didn't she? Bella tells him that she is serious, so he says, thanks. Sort of. And Bella grins back, you're sort of welcome. Bella ended up needing 7 stitches for the cut on her forehead, and Jacob held her hand the whole time that Dr. Snow was sewing. After she got out of the ER, She had to drive Jacob home and then got back to make dinner for Charlie. Charlie totally bought the story about her falling and hitting her head on a hammer in the garage. Why wouldn't he believe it? It's not the first time that she had landed in the ER by just her own 2 feet. Before Bella could get home, Dr. Durandi, whatever his name was, called Charlie to warn him that she possibly has a concussion and that he should wake her every 2 hours throughout the night to ensure that it wasn't serious. During dinner, Charlie suggests that she should just stay out of the garage altogether. Bella was worried that he would take all that comes with that away, and she wasn't ready to give that up. Quote, I'd had the most amazing hallucination today. My velvet-voiced illusion had yelled at me for almost 5 minutes before I'd hit the brake too abruptly and launched myself into a tree. I'd take whatever pain would cause me tonight without complaint. End quote.
She sounds like a junkie, like a straight up addict.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my notes here is I literally have no words. He is yelling at you. You have a green flag next to you who is nice, gentle, caring, and sweet, and you want an asshole. Teenage girls.
Teenage girls.
And I can't judge because I was one of those.
Same.
I get it, but I want to go back in time and just shake myself, and therefore I want to just...
Same.
Anyway, Bella decides to tell Charlie that it didn't actually happen in the garage. They were hiking and she tripped over a rock.
What about the hammer?
So that's the part in the book where I don't know. Bella said that she hit her hand, like she was going to tell Charlie that she hit her head on a hammer in the garage. But she said that that was the plan, but it didn't actually say what she actually told Charlie. And then now she's like, no, I didn't hit, I hit my head in the, on a rock, not in the garage. Charlie was skeptical at this because she didn't hike.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm skeptical because, like, what the F is your story?
Shocker. The junkie's making poor excuses.
Weird. That never happens, right, Connie?
Never.
No.
Never.
So Bella tells him that working at the Newtons is rubbing off on her, and she got curious, but don't worry, she'll be more careful. Charlie just glares at her and tells her he doesn't mind if she's hiking in LaPush, but stay close to town because they've been getting a lot of complaints about wildlife and a big bear. The forestry department will be checking in on it, but for the time being, keep close to town. When Bella picks up Jacob on Friday, she complains that Charlie is getting too nosy. Jacob suggests that they cool it for a while with the bikes, at least for a week or so, then asks she can stay out of the hospital for a week, right?
Yes.
Hopefully. Bella asks what they would do instead. Jacob cheerfully just says whatever she wants. Bella tries to think of other ways to trigger her... I can't even finish the sentence. Bella tries to think of ways to trigger her hallucinations.
That's healthy.
Just stop. Just enough.
Also, you Zeus. Stop.
The meadow. That place would always be his. Jacob asks what she's concentrating on so hard, and she tells him that there was a cool place in the forest that she once stumbled upon one time when she was hiking, but she didn't know if she would be able to find it again. Jacob was game. He said that they could use a compass and a grid pattern, and then asks if she remembers where she started. She does, and Jacob is confident that they can find it. Jacob deserves so much better than Bella.
Yes, he does.
On Saturday, Bella put on her new hiking boots and grabbed a map of the Olympic Peninsula and left to pick up Jacob. Jacob opened the map in the living room and drew a web across key sections. During this, Bella talked to Billy, and he didn't seem concerned at all about the hiking trip. He was surprised Jacob even told him, given all the bear sightings. As Jacob finished, he joked, maybe they'll see the super bear. Billy just laughed and suggests maybe they should bring a jar of honey. Jacob laughs and tells Bella that he hopes that her boots are fast because a jar of honey won't keep it occupied for very long. Bella informs him that she just needs to be faster than him. Jacob rolls his eyes and says, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Good luck. They took off, and Billy told them to have fun. Bella drove them to the trailhead, and it dawned on Bella that this might be a bad idea, but it would be worth it if she could hear him. It would not be.
You're putting Jacob in danger with your delusion, but okay.
Yeah. Bella points and says this is where she started. Jacob was surprised. Bella seemed like a trail girl. Bella just smiles and says she's a rebel. He laughs and pulls out the map and compass. He got the grid he wanted, and they started. Bella noticed that she was slowing Jacob down, but he didn't complain at all. Bella tried to not dwell too much on her last trip in this forest. Jacob was whistling, and every few minutes he would check on his compass. Bella wanted to compliment him. He looked like he knew what he was doing, but if she complimented him, he would definitely want more years added to his negotiable age. After a while, Bella hesitantly asked how things are going with Embry. Jacob was silent for a while and finally told her that he's not back to normal. He's still with Sam, and they're still sometimes looking at him funny. Bella asks if Billy's been helpful at all. Jacob has a sour and angry tone that disturbs Bella. Reminding you of Edward? Maybe. Billy, is as helpful as ever. Bella tells Jacob that their couch is always open. And Jacob laughs and says, think about the position that you would put Charlie in when Billy calls to report a kidnapping. They both laugh, and Jacob seems to be back to normal. They stopped at 6 miles, turned west, and then turned back to work on another grid of Jacob's. But he was still confident that he could find the meadow as long as they were starting from the same place. Bella assures him that they are, and Jacob promises that they'll find it as he takes her hand to help her over a log. They eventually make it back to the truck, and Bella tells him that they'll have to bring a flashlight next time. Jacob didn't realize that she was that slow, so they'll have to save hikes for Sundays. Bella takes her hand from his and stomps around the driver's seat. Jacob just chuckles and asks if she's up for another try tomorrow. She is, and Jacob hopes that they see the bear tomorrow. He was disappointed that they didn't run into it today. Quote, yes, me too, I agreed sarcastically. Maybe we'll get lucky tomorrow and something will eat us. Bears don't want to eat people. We don't taste that good. He grinned at me in the dark cab. Of course, you might be an exception. I bet you'd taste good. Thanks so much, I said, looking away. He wasn't the first person to tell me that. End quote, end of chapter 8. Stephanie!
You know, let's just barrel roll into chapter 9. We're almost at the end.
I guess we have technically talked about something like that before in Twilight. Go check out that. So chapter 9 is called Third Wheeling. Third wheel. Sorry, not wheeling. Wheel.
Okay.
Third wheel. And now looking back, it makes sense. So for Bella, time began to move along more quickly. She would go to school, work, and see Jacob. Charlie also got his wish. Bella was no longer miserable. When Bella stopped to examine her life, she felt like a lost moon. Quote, my planet destroyed in some cataclysmic?
Uh-huh. So that's a hard one when you haven't batch recorded.
Yeah, batch recording, that ain't happening, so thank you. We're just going to keep continuing the quote. Disaster movie scenario of desolation. That continued, nevertheless, to circle in a tight little orbit around the empty space left behind, ignoring the laws of gravity, end quote. Bella's just being really dramatic, as ever.
Par for the course.
Yeah. Bella was continuing her driving lessons with Jacob, and she was getting better. This was a good thing for Charlie, but this was also a bad thing because the voice in her head started to fade and she no longer heard it. Bella quietly panicked. The voice was gone, so she started to throw herself into search for the meadow and tried to come up with other adrenaline-producing activities. Bella no longer kept track of the days, but tried her best to live in the moment. No past, no future, just now.
Coping mechanism can be good or bad. You need to have some, wherewithal for the future.
Yeah, well, Jacob surprised Bella by asking for a homework day to be a date. He showed up smiling and ducked his head, saying Happy Valentine's Day. He had brought her a small pink box of conversation hearts. Yeah. Bella didn't even realize that it was Valentine's Day because she wasn't paying attention. Jacob shook his head with mock sadness and says she can be so out of it sometimes. But will she be his Valentine since, she didn't get him a 50-cent box of candy? It's the least she can do. Bella asks, what does that entail?
Very good follow-up question. Very good.
Jacob tells her, the usual slave for life thing.
There you go. There you go. Clarified. It was.
Bella takes the candy saying, well, if that's all. She then thought about ways to set boundaries with Jacob. The lines were becoming blurred a lot with him.
Blurred?
There ain't no lines. I know.
Bella. No. The place to start the boundaries is the first time something happens that is relatively close to the line of where the boundary is.
Like him holding your hand.
Holding hand? I get it because they were going through the dark.
I know, but then he
kept holding
her hand.
Yep. Okay.
And she didn't pull away or anything.
She didn't pull away. And I'm even thinking more like the hug thing when he starts like brushing the hair and she has that first inkling of, I think it's a little bit more. And then she goes to say like, oh, Jacob, did you know you're kind of beautiful?
Yeah. There was a line and she was the one that crossed it.
Yeah.
And now she's like, maybe I should tell him back.
So in other words, Stephanie did a phenomenal job at writing a 17-year-old girl.
Good because job, I definitely did that crap at 17. Well, technically
18.
Bella's 18 right now, but I definitely did that crap at 17 and 18.
Yeah, I kind of feel like every girl does. And part of it is you're learning when you have to draw boundaries.
Yeah.
Part of it is also just being a dumb kid.
Mine was just being a dumb kid.
Yeah, mine was a little mix of both.
With what the scenario that I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still feel really bad about that looking back, but I don't know how my brain was like, this is fine.
Same, actually.
Terrifying. I'm terrified to have kids. The more that I'm like looking back and being like, all the crap that I did. I was not a bad kid, but like,
hey, you never know. Heck, you can raise a good kid. Like I was raised to be a good kid, if I so say myself. And as those who've watched the Hang Lee episode will know, I should have died. I pulled some dumb, stupid stuff just in the name of being young.
Yeah. Yeah. I more so just accidentally let on guys thinking that we were friends, and then I kind of sort of pushed lines, and then they like went full force.
Yeah,
Oops.
same.
And then questioned why they were doing it.
Same. So red flag on
Sorry.
us.
Yeah, red flag on high school us.
On high school us, not us now.
No.
Now it's very
No, not now.
firm boundaries. It's like even if I think there is even a relatively something something, I bring up, oh, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband, my husband.
Yes. Yeah. That's a nice thing about rings, especially when you're in grad school.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the ring on my finger for the first
Couple of weeks.
couple months. It was October.
Oh yeah.
Because we got engaged like 2 weeks before, slightly less than 2 weeks before we got married.
Yeah.
So I went the whole first couple months without a ring, but knowing that I was prepping for a wedding. And guys, when you're in grad school, they just kind of flock. If you don't have a ring on your finger, they just.
Already seen that at orientations for my higher education stuff.
It's
That's starting.
bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's gross, to be honest. And then I got a ring on my finger, and then like no one wanted to talk to me. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But you know the weird thing is, I've seen, and this we can unpack in a different episode because this is Twilight ultimately. I have seen where men, once they have a ring on, women hit on them more.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I saw a lot of that.
Yeah. So red flag on women.
Yeah.
God, I love these red flags.
I'm not talking grad school. That didn't really happen in grad school. I'm talking just life.
Life in general.
Like old coworkers and like, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
So what we're saying is right now, Bella is kind of giving those vibes.
She is.
I'm just going to keep holding this. God, this
That's
is such
fine.
a fun prop. I'm so
I
glad
know.
you got these. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So much joy. It's the only time I've gotten joy from red flags.
Well, we won't unpack that right now. So they decide on hiking the next day, and Jacob asks if they would ride bikes on Friday. Bella said that she couldn't on Friday because she was going to a movie with her cafeteria crowd. Jacob's face fell, and Bella quickly asks if he would want to come with. She couldn't stand hurting Jacob. They were connected in some way. Jacob asks if she really wants him there. She does, and she even says that he can bring Quill. Jacob rolls his eyes. Quill is going to love senior girls. Bella laughs and says that she'll try her best to give him a good selection. The next day, Bella asked Mike if they could turn Friday into a group thing. He agrees, but is less eager than when he thought it was going to be just the two of them. Mike all of a sudden becomes more eager and asks what if they invite Angela and Ben, or Eric and Katie. He was determined to turn this into a double date. I know, that's a red flag, Mike. Bella suggests that they invite all of them, and also maybe Jessica, Tyler, Connor, and maybe even Lauren. Mike mutters okay as Bella tells him that she is inviting a few people from LaPush, so they might need his Suburban. Mike asks if these are the friends that she's spending all of her time with studying. Bella tells him that it is, but you could look at it as more of tutoring since they're sophomores. Mike was surprised and then became happy again. Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimately, their group ended up being Bella, Mike, Angela, Ben, and Jacob.
Oh, good. No Lauren. Yay.
No Lauren, no Jessica, no Connor, because Lauren got to all of them first. Because she heard. And so she's like, no, we're all going to set up plans so no one does their thing. Yeah. When they got home from school, there was a familiar car in the driveway, and Jacob was leaned against it with a huge grin on his face. Bella jumped out of her truck excitedly. He finished the rabbit. Jacob bumped his hand against hers. She didn't move it, so Jacob twists his fingers through hers.
Oh, as in...
Like they're standing next to each other, and he, you know when like that awkward you first like start dating
Got it.
someone.
Got it.
And you like awkwardly like stand next to each other and just. So he did that bump for a check, and she didn't move her hand.
On Bella.
Not on Jacob.
On Bella.
Yeah, because Jacob did the polite thing. Like he did the bump to check.
He did everything right, what you would expect.
Yep.
Bella is the one who failed to draw a boundary. Red flag. Penalty box.
Yes. She should be in a pellet penalty box. Oh
Absolutely. I'm just gonna keep this out.
Yep, you might need it. Jacob asks if he can drive tonight, and Bella agrees and says that she gives up. He wins. She can't top this. He's definitely the oldest. Jacob shrugs. Of course he is. Mike's Suburban comes from around the corner, and Bella pulls her hand out of Jacob's, and he makes a face that she probably wasn't meant to see. Jacob says he remembers this guy. He's the one who thought that she was his girlfriend. Is he still confused? Bella says that some people are hard to discourage. And Jacob responds, sometimes persistence pays off. Bella says most of the time it's just annoying. Mike gets out of his car and comes over to greet them. Bella introduces the two of them, and then the phone rang. Bella ran to answer it, and it was actually Ben calling. Angela was sick with the stomach flu, and he didn't want to come out without her.
Green flag on Ben.
Green flag on Ben. But now their group is just the three of them, Connie.
Because Embry couldn't make it, or Quill, or whoever. Quill, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because Quill was grounded or something. Forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah. Dear.
So now it's just the three of them. Bella came back to the two of the boys. They were both facing away from one another, and Mike had a sullen expression, and Jacob was cheerful as always. Bella told them the news, and Mike suggests that maybe they should reschedule. Bella was going to agree with him, but Jacob spoke first, saying that he was still up for it, but if Mike would rather stay behind... And Mike interrupts him immediately, saying, nope, he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Mike started walking towards the Suburban, and Bella asked if Jacob can drive. She told him that he could since he just finished his car. You know, the one that he built all by himself from scratch. Mike snaps fine and climbs into the backseat of the Rabbit with a disgusted look on his face.
Sorry.
I know. I'm just picturing, the mutual high school.
Can you not 100% see it right now?
1,000.
Mm-hmm.
1,000. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, you should go back to Twilight. Yeah.
Our Twilight reaction videos, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, our Twilight reaction videos, yep. And you'll get keyed in on all that. Ugh. So Jacob was still his normal sunny self and was chatty. Bella at one point even forgot that Mike was in the back seat. Mike decided to change strategies and decided to rest his chin on the shoulder of Bella's seat so his cheek almost touched hers. Bella moved away and turned so her back was facing the window. So she was way far away from his face. Mike asked if the radio worked since it wasn't on. Jacob informs him that it does, but Bella doesn't like music. Bella was shocked. She had never told him that. Probably not hard to figure out. Actually, my husband does the same. We never listen to music in the car together. Ever. It's never on. The radio is never on.
Really?
Ever. Even when we did our road trip, it's never on.
Oh, we definitely have my husband's music going. He doesn't like mine.
He's not listening to you.
Shocker.
Yeah, no, we don't listen to anything in the car. So.
No, I'm definitely like have something going low level. Well, you and I just had a trip, 2 weekends ago?
Yeah, we had podcasts going. Yeah, no. And the only time either of us would listen to something, we would like pop in an earbud when it got super late at night and one was sleeping and the other one was driving. But that's like, you're being respectful and you don't want to wake the other person up and let them sleep. But yeah, so I get it, kind of, but that's not why she doesn't listen to music.
Trauma.
Yeah. So Mike was annoyed and couldn't believe it. How could Bella not like music? But Bella says that Jacob was right. Music irritates her. When they got to the movie theater, Jacob hands Bella some money. He technically isn't old enough to get into the movie that they want to see because it's 17. You have to be 17 to get into whatever R-rated movies or whatever. Bella asks if Billy would be mad at him. Bella asks if Billy would be mad at her if she snuck Jacob in. Jacob assured her he wouldn't be. Quote, I told him that you were planning to corrupt my youthful innocence. End quote. What?
So obviously Jacob has not read some of the books we've read, huh?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Bella snickered and wished that Mike did actually decide to bow out. But then again, that wouldn't help with the boundary thing that she was trying to set up.
Trying? That's like...
You're not trying.
No. That's like eating Oreos and saying, I'm trying to go on a diet.
Not very hard. And you secretly love them. You secretly love them, and that's why you're eating more and more and more.
Yeah,
and you just can't admit to yourself that you just love Oreos and you can't cut them out of your diet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
And it's not maybe because of the love of the taste of the Oreos, it's how the Oreos make you feel.
Exactly.
In this case, obviously, Jacob is the Oreo. She doesn't necessarily love what he is, just how he makes her feel. How selfish.
I know.
Red
she's
flag on
really
Bella.
Selfish. Yes. Really, honestly, the red flag should constantly just be up for Bella during this whole chapter. Because, like, girl. But you're going to love some of this that comes up with them in the movie theater. So while in the movie, Jacob starts laughing. He was laughing at the blood squirting from a guy and said that it was so fake. He starts chuckling again when another man was speared by a flagpole and then thrown into a concrete wall.
Nice.
Bella then watched the movie in a different way and started laughing with Jacob about how ridiculous it all was. Quote, how was I ever going to fight the blurring lines in our relationship when I enjoyed being with him so much? End quote. In my notes, I wrote in all caps, you can't get over Edward already.
How am I ever going to... Okay, keep going. Sorry.
But this is the part that you're going to love. Bella was sitting between Jacob and Mike, and they had both claimed the armrest between her. Quote, both of their hands rested lightly, palms up and in an unnatural looking position, like steel bear traps open and ready. Jacob was in the habit of taking my hand whenever the opportunity presented itself. But here in the darkened movie theater with Mike watching, it would have been a different significance. And I was sure he knew that. I couldn't believe that Mike was thinking the same thing, but his hand was placed exactly like Jacob's. End quote. And Bella sat with her arms folded across her chest.
I do remember this part. Because I remember thinking, that's so smart. So smart.
Yeah, I'd just be like, I refuse to give in to anything. No. So Mike gave up about halfway through the movie. He ended up leaning forward and put his heads. Oh no. He put his heads. He has multiple heads, Connie. Mike gave up about halfway through the movie. He leaned forward and put his head in his hands and said he thinks he's sick. There was sweat across his face, and he suddenly bolted for the door. Bella got up to follow him, and Jacob did the same. Bella tells Jacob to stay. She's just going to make sure he's okay, and Jacob should at least get his $8 worth. Jacob says that's okay, and she can sure pick them. The movie really sucked. Mike wasn't anywhere to be seen, so Jacob went into the bathroom and came out moments later. Jacob rolled his eyes. He's in there. Quote, "What a marshmallow. You should hold out for someone with a stronger stomach, someone who laughs at the gore that makes weaker men vomit." End quote. In other words, don't go for a weak guy like Mike. Go for me. Jacob and Bella went and sat on the bench waiting for Mike. When Bella was about to sit down next to Jacob, she thought it looked like he was thinking about blurring the lines again. He did. As she sat, he put his arms around her shoulder. Bella protested and leaned away. Jacob dropped his arm and didn't look at all bothered by the rejection. Good, that is how you should act.
Yes.
Jacob took her hands firmly in his and then held them firmly when she tried to pull away. She was shocked by this confidence suddenly coming over him. Calmly, Jacob tells her, hold on, he needs to tell her something. This wasn't something that Bella wanted to do, not now or ever. There wasn't anything left in her life that was more important than Jacob, but he was determined to ruin everything. So, is she just like not wanting to ruin the friendship with him, and that's why she's not pursuing things? Because
part of it's friendship, part of it is she's not interested in him that way. Which is why, when we were talking about it earlier, this is why it's so dangerous to put your happiness all in one person.
Yeah.
You can't do that, because here she's like, he's going to ruin it. Where it's like,
yeah.
It was never good to begin with because you set it up under false pretenses.
I know, but I really like Jacob.
I know, I like Jacob too, but that's why I feel bad for him, because Bella set this up from the beginning. Like, very much a reasonable person would expect that her actions, especially a reasonable 16-year-old boy, would totally interpret that as flirting. So, like, she's starting off the relationship bad.
Yeah, she is.
I'm blaming Bella.
Yeah. So this is a little back and forth between Jacob and Bella. You like me, right? You know I do.
Jacob, you like me, right? Bella, okay.
Yeah, it goes back and forth, and I just got lazy with saying who was who.
Gotcha. Can you, red flag for Bella, hand for Jacob.
You like me, right? You know that I do. Better than that joker puking his guts out in there? Yes. Better than any of the other guys you know? Better than the girls, too. But that's all. He said it as a statement and not a question. Bella whispered yes. Jacob grinned at her, saying, it's okay as long as you like me the best. And you think that I'm good looking, sort of. I'm prepared to be annoyingly persistent. Bella assures him that she's not going to change. Jacob's expression changed to not as joking. It's still the other one, isn't it? He asked. Bella cringed, and he tells her she doesn't have to talk about it, but don't get mad at him for hanging around because he isn't giving up. There's a bunch of time. Bella sighs, saying that he shouldn't waste his time over her. She wanted him to, though. This is like giving, like, yeah, but like
Mixed
Bella's
signals.
Yeah, Bella's doing to him what Edward did to her in the beginning.
Yes. Oh my God, Bella,
Stay
you
away
bitch.
from me. Yeah, stay away from me. No, I'm not going to. It's literally the whole thing over again. Whole thing, Connie.
The only difference is Jacob's a lot more likable than Bella was in the Twilight.
Yeah. Much more. So he says it's what he wants to do, though, as long as she likes being with him. And Bella admits that she can't imagine not being with him, but don't expect anything more than that. Jacob can live with that, and he gestures to their hands, saying, this doesn't bother you, does it? It didn't. It felt nice. The problem was that it meant something different to both of them. Jacob starts tracing a scar on the side of her hand with his index finger. He asks where she got it from. Bella waited for her memory to hit, but it didn't. not in Jacob's presence. Jacob muttered that the scar is cold. And we kind of skim over that. But if y'all aren't picking up on it, it's her hand, and that's where James
bit her in the first book.
Yes. So Mike came out of the bathroom and asked if they minded if they left early. Jacob asks if the movie was too much for him, but Mike just glares at him and says no, he was nauseous before the lights even went down. He was hoping that it would pass. Jacob runs and gets an empty popcorn bucket, and the worker asks Jacob to get Mike outside. They headed back with the windows down, hoping that it would help Mike, but Bella was cold. Jacob noticed and put his arm around her. He wasn't cold, and Bella said that he must have a fever or something. Bella felt his forehead, and he was burning up. And Jacob says he felt fine, but says her hands are like ice. Mike groaned in the back seat and threw up in the bucket. Yep. Bella knew it was wrong to encourage Jacob. It was selfish. It is. Bella felt like a vacant house, one that had been condemned for months and was inhabitable.
Inhabitable?
Thank you. The front door was repaired, but just that small piece, and he deserved better than that. Nothing he could do would get it back in working order. But Bella knew that she also couldn't send him away. She needed him too much. Again, you are doing to him what Edward did to you in the first book, Bella. So maybe she needed to get him to leave her. At that thought, she shuddered, and Jacob, thinking that she was cold, tightened his arms around her.
Manipulative. Okay. Keep going.
Bella drove Mike home in his Suburban, and Jacob followed behind. Jacob was quiet on the drive back to Bella's. When they got back, Jacob told her he would invite himself in since they got back early, but he thinks that she might be right about the fever. He was feeling a little strange. Is tonight the night? Literally in all caps. Bella offers to bring him home, but he says no. He doesn't feel sick yet, just wrong. But don't worry, he'll pull over if he needs to. Bella anxiously asks if he'll call her when he gets back. Jacob frowns and says sure. Bella opens the car door to get out, but he lightly grabs her wrist. There is something he needs to tell her, but it might sound corny. He knows that Bella is unhappy a lot, and maybe this won't help anything, but he wants her to know that he is always there and he won't let her down. She can count on him and he would never hurt her. You can't change people. You can't fix people. People need to figure their own crap out. And that took me the longest time because I always wanted to be the fixer. I wanted to be the helper. I wanted to be the one there for him. And I see that in Jacob. I'm like, no.
I know. Also, don't worry. God, those who know what I know, you want to say so much right now, don't you? Because I knew. But we're gonna wait.
I'm completely woo.
We're gonna wait.
Because I know we've told you guys before that we batch record. I've only read through chapter 9. So I know nothing.
Yeah, see, the big thing is really in the final book, so we're a ways away.
Oh, we're a ways away. Okay, I thought that this was coming at this book.
That's the big thing is in the final or the last book, and that's the one where I'm gonna find out what chapter it is. So before you read it, I will tell you that you have to straight up record yourself so we can get a legit reaction to it.
Can we skip the last book?
No.
I don't want to read it. Knowing that I have to record myself means that something really bad happens to Jacob.
No. It does involve Jacob. It does. And define bad. You'll find out. You're looking at me like I'm telling you that someone's going to die. No one's going to die.
That's what I'm worried about. Okay, well, okay, then that's fine.
Die.
Okay. I'm like, who's gonna die? So Bella says that she knows, and she does count on him a lot more than he realizes, actually. Jacob smiles, and Bella realizes even though she told him only truth, she should have lied because she would let him down. Suddenly, a strange look came across his face, and he said he really thinks that he should go. Bella got out and yelled to call her. Jacob looked to be in control of his car as he left. She was starting to feel ill herself, but not for physical reasons. Bella wished Jacob had been born her brother, so I don't even want to say that. Bella wished Jacob would have been born her brother, so that way she would have some legitimate claim on him, but left her free from blame. I have nothing to say. Yep, thank you. Yeah, I have nothing else to say. So she needed him. It was like he was her drug. She couldn't bear to hurt him. He thought that time and patience would change her mind, and she knew that he was wrong, but she knew she would still let him try. After all, he was her best friend. She would always love him, and it would never be enough. Charlie was surprised when Bella came in early. She tells him that Mike got sick, but she feels fine for now at least. Bella leans against the kitchen counter next to the phone and tries to wait patiently. She thought of the look on his face when she left. She really should have insisted on driving him. Time ticked by, and finally Bella called and Billy picked up after a while. He answered weary, and Bella asked if Jake made it back yet because he left about 20 minutes ago and was supposed to call. Billy said that he was there and he was too sick to call. He's not feeling too well right now. Bella told him to let her know if they need anything. She could come down. At this, Billy quickly said, "No, we're fine. Stay at your place." Bella said, "Okay," and Billy told her bye and hung up abruptly. Bella was glad that he made it home, but she still didn't feel any less worried. Maybe she would check in on him tomorrow and bring him some soup or something. At 4:30 in the morning, Bella woke up and sprinted to the bathroom. Charlie found her about a half hour later lying on the bathroom floor.
How do you not hear her throwing up for... Okay, whatever.
Granted, I got up at 4:30 in the morning and started puking in our bathroom, and our bathroom ain't that far. My husband would not wake up.
Same. Actually, he didn't the night I had food poisoning. 2 a.m.
Yeah, see? There you go.
10 out of 10. Do not recommend food poisoning. It sucks.
It's not good.
No.
It's not good at all. Not fun. And that's why I don't eat McDonald's anymore. So Charlie found her. He was looking at her for a while and finally says, "Stomach flu," and then asks if she needs anything. Bella asks for him to call the Newtons and say that she has what Mike has and she can't come in today, and be sure to tell him that she was sorry. Charlie assures her that he will. Charlie leaves for work and left Bella a glass of water next to her. Bella woke up hours later. It was dark and it must have been nighttime. Charlie asked if she was still alive, and she responds barely, but she doesn't need anything. Charlie was out of his element and says, "Okay," and then went back downstairs. The phone rang and Charlie answered. Mike was feeling better. This was encouraging. Only 8 more hours to go. Yay.
I do remember when I've had the 24-hour bugs, I have been religiously watching the clock. I'm like, you better be 24 hours or I'm going to sue God.
Oh, yeah. Bella fell asleep again, but woke up in her bed and it was light outside. Charlie must have carried her to her room, and then he also left her a glass of water next to her bed. Love Charlie. Bella chugged the water down. Her stomach felt fine now, but she didn't want to push it, so she ate some saltine crackers for breakfast when she went downstairs. She ended up calling Jacob, and he answered. His voice was broken and cracking. "He sounds awful." and Jacob tells her that he feels horrible. His whole body just hurts. Bella apologizes for making him go out with her, but he is glad that he went. And don't worry, this wasn't her fault. Bella tells him that she was sick too, but is better now, so he should start feeling better in a few hours. Jacob tells her that he doesn't have what she did, but she can't do anything and can't come over. He'll let her know when she can come again. He suddenly says he has to go. Bella tells him to call her when he feels better. He agrees. His voice is strange and bitter. He was silent for a moment. She was waiting for a goodbye, but he was waiting too. Bella breaks the silence and says that she'll see him soon. Quote, "Wait for me to call," he says again. Okay. Bye, Jacob. Bella. He whispers my name and then hung up the phone. End quote, and end of chapter 9. All right, so Jacob is in midst of transforming into a werewolf, obviously.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more obvious.
Not really, no.
No, especially the whole, like, this just happened to my buddy,
Emery?
Emery, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm like, it starts with an E, and I almost said Esme, and I'm like, no.
I almost said Emmett.
Oh, well, we got the 2 E vampires, minus the other E.
Eddie boy.
Yeah.
It's okay, we're not thinking about him right now, because Bella is.
I know. I am starting to understand why. So this is one of my sister-in-law's favorite Twilight book, and she told me that she is a diehard Team Jacob.
I get why reading it now.
I 100% agree with her right now. So far, I mean, granted, I am almost halfway. Oh yeah, by the way, that is the end of chapter 9, start of chapter 10, where we are right now. So we're almost halfway through the book already, which is crazy to say. Yeah. But from what, the first book and then almost halfway through the second book, I like the second book a lot better. Honestly, I have a feeling that the first book is the worst.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's my
good.
memory. Also, sorry, my face was. I can totally understand why your sister-in-law is Team Jacob. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. The brother that she's married to does definitely have some things that like line up with Jacob, like the bubbliness, the friendliness. Tell me you see that there.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah. But also, like, I literally, the moment Jacob showed up here, I was like, I'm Team Jacob.
Yeah.
But apparently I have to say for now, per Connie's face and facial expressions as I've been saying that. I'm like, I'm Team Jacob. And she makes faces and I'm like, for now? And she's like, mm-hmm. So something's gonna happen, I guess.
He's gonna do one thing that I know is like one of your absolute like boundary lines. You do not cross it. And when he does that, that's when I'm like, ooh, you are not gonna, like, some people don't find it as bad. And I remember like reading it at the time and I'm like, oh, I could see how that would happen in like teenagers. But now I'm like, no one gets like bad, nothing that bad. But it's like very much a disrespect of a personal boundary.
Well, also, here's the thing though. If you have Jacob and Edward's already done so much crap.
Yeah, of the two of them, Jacob definitely is more respectful of bodily autonomy than or in anatomy.
He's also just like more mindful in general of everything. For now. Apparently, for now. And I just have to keep saying that, and eventually I will understand.
Yeah. And I think Edward gets better in later books. At least I remember him being.
Okay.
You got to take him book by book and like chapter by chapter. Overall, is it more red flags than green?
Probably.
As of right now, absolutely. Although the greenest flag that he did was walk away.
Yeah, but apparently he comes back. So what the heck, Edward? You promised her that you weren't coming back. Ugh. See, I can't see why he would come back. I don't understand. If he left and said, you will never ever see me again in your life, goodbye, I'm going to take everything I've ever given you so you will have no memory of me, no anything. Why the frick would you freaking come back? So goodbye, Edward. Good riddance. And I am enjoying all of these chapters just filled with Jacob for now.
I am literally holding words back.
I know.
But it will be like going to my neck doing that. Oh, okay. You will find out, as will you guys, in future episodes. We will probably keep doing about 3 chapters an episode. We're going to try and knock this out, relatively quicker instead of Twilight. That was
too drawn out.
That
was painfully drawn out. Ruby agrees. I don't know if that picked up, but Ruby agrees.
Well, any thoughts to add before we sign off?
Make sure that you are following us on all of our social media accounts so you can be notified when we post. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram, all at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, and that's Chronicles with an S. Yeah.
I think that's everything.
Yeah. All right. We will see you guys next time.
Adios.
Bye. Ruby.
Oh, we're getting to the exciting parts.
We are getting to the exciting part.
It gets frustrating again, though.
Soon.
This is a Stephanie Meyer's book. Just assume that it is peaks and valleys of frustration. Plenty of red flags. Those don't go away if you're looking for something constant.
I'm not looking for red flags. I like the green flags of Jacob. Stephanie, why the frick are you ruining it?
I'm not saying shit.
And bye.